Jeremy McQueen, thank you for being in from Another Zero from the Black Iris Project. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to meet
Yes,
you.
let's start from the beginning. So, you're from San Diego, you're based in New York, right? And you're the founder of the Black Iris Project. It's a hard word for me to pronounce, Iris. How did all of that start? I know your mom was an inspiration, but how did that start?
She was, yeah. So I'm originally from Southeast San Diego. I graduated from San Diego SCPA in 2004. I attended SCPA for middle school and high school, but my infatuation with the arts really first started when I was about 8 years old. My mom had taken me to the Civic Theater to see the national tour of the Phantom of the Opera when it came to town. And I just loved everything about the experience, being able to see such vibrant pictures come to life in front of my eyes in ways that I didn't really get to see via television or movies. It just caught me in a trance. And so I looked at my mom after that performance and I shared with her that I wanted more of that. I didn't know that I could make a living as an artist. It didn't matter to me. But I just knew that I had been bitten by the arts bug. And so my parents did whatever they could to kind of expose me to the arts and put me in classes and just to kind of see what would stick, if anything at all. And dance and theater were the two things that really stuck most with me. But yeah, I grew up in San Diego and I knew that in order to have the career that I wanted, obviously going to SCPA in middle school and high school, I learned that you could be an artist and actually make a living and do that full time. So I had decided I wanted to go to college for dance and that I wanted to be on Broadway. That was my ultimate goal. But the only way to do that is to essentially move to New York. Broadway is in New York City. So I took a leap of faith where a lot of my classmates that were also really talented dancers and actors, many of them kind of stayed close to home or went to local colleges in California, or they went to pursue different careers and kind of did dance or theater as kind of a hobby or a pastime. But I knew that I wanted to make this my life. And so I moved to New York pretty much by myself and kind of made friends and a network of people who had lived in California but made their way out east. And I've gotten to do some really incredible things from having been in the Broadway National Tour of Wicked and The Color Purple to being able to see my own choreographic voice and vision take flight at Carnegie Hall, the Kennedy Center. It's just been really rewarding. So we're coming to San Diego with my collaborative, the Black Iris Project, on February 8th to kind of just share with my community what I've been working on. I've been wanting to bring my work to San Diego for so long, and the opportunity hasn't been there. So I decided to make an opportunity myself.
Amazing. I love that. The Black Iris Project is an Emmy Award-winning ballet, collaborative, and education vehicle. You're coming to the Balboa Theater in San Diego on February 8th. There are a few tickets available. It's pretty much like sold. So that's good. Congratulations.
Thank
And I
you.
want to, yeah, I want to dive in before we talk about what are you presenting in San Diego, because I want to dive into this lack of opportunity and why these things happen and how can people that are watching this contribute for that to that opportunity to take place, to be there.
Yeah, that's such a heavy question with so many different angles one can take. But for me, like I said, that very early exposure that I had to the arts really changed the trajectory of my life altogether. It changed the way I looked at myself. It changed the way that I was able to express myself. Growing up as a young Black queer kid, I often found that I had a difficulty finding ways to express the things that I was feeling with words. But one thing that was really beautiful about dance was that it provided me an outlet to be able to express myself in times where words were just not possible. And, it's been my mission more or less throughout my entire career thus far to give back to inspire communities of color and give them that access to not just see art, but to be able to interact with us and to learn about our experiences and the challenges that we face as a source of just gaining support. In order for the arts to continue to thrive and look as colorful as it can be, we have to interact with young people at a young age while they still have, vibrancy and the willingness to want to explore how to express themselves. I was meeting with someone recently in San Diego who told me that they said their child was once really interested in singing, but the parent had pushed the student to focus on sports instead, and they tried to suppress that artistic creativity. But later on, that parent came to realize, like, I really shouldn't do this to my child, even if the child, say, doesn't want to pursue something musical or artistic as a career. It's still, the arts provide such a great source of cathartic healing, being able to navigate one's life through the challenging times that we're living in right now, and finding an outlet to express yourself is so important. So I'm really looking forward to bring my work specifically to share with Southeast San Diego communities that are primarily of color, because we normally don't get that opportunity to have work created or presented for us that reflects our culture, our history, our stories. And that's what our organization is all about: creating original, authentic ballets that are rooted in Black history, Black culture, Black experience, and taking that directly to those communities that deserve that inspiration.
I love it because also I wasn't aware, and I am very happy that I am now, of the troupe and the collective, right? The company itself, because aside from having gorgeous materials, gorgeous pictures, it's just gorgeous.
Thank you.
And we're gonna put up all the information for people to check it out. It's a breath of fresh air from someone that's representing the Southeast. I'm in La Mesa, and I'm Mexican, south of the border from Tijuana. So it's like I wear different hats, and it's very refreshing to see these types of things, especially with ballet, because we've had that conversation for a while. Misty Copeland, right? From my perspective, obviously, from my I am there, but at the same time, like knowing you now, it's also kind of like not knowledgeable enough, let's say, right, of the things that are out there. And I am a huge follower of her. And that's what I've seen. And that she's not Black, not enough Black. She's, and she has these conversations, but she also has, but from again, my perspective that I've seen is that there's you don't see that diversity in ballet, and you didn't see it, like, let's just say 5 years ago, like you didn't see it, right? It was all like just like one color, and you're seeing it more and more now. And also going back to the example of the parent that you shared, there's a lot of parents that try to protect us and say no because they don't look like us. So, and it's obviously traumatizing, but it's not a thing of it doesn't come from a place of it's not negative necessarily. It's just they're trying to protect us, right? And I am very moved and again happy to see this project, because this is so great, not only for people like me that are seeing this and appreciate it and be like, yeah, I'm going to support, but for young aspiring performers that see themselves on stage and they're like, yes, I can do this, and I can also
Yeah.
learn from this, right?
Yeah. And the great thing about our collective is that it's not just the performers on the stage, it's the artistic team is primarily made up of people of color, not just Black, brown, Asian. There's a lot of different colors that are coming together to tell these specific stories. And one of the really awesome things that I'm looking forward to doing in San Diego is we're donating over 600 tickets specifically to youth and families in Southeast San Diego. We're working with the mayor's office to distribute those tickets to high schools, particularly in Southeast, so that they can have that experience to be able to go and see the arts and to experience our work and engage in a talk back about the importance of arts education with us afterwards. Because, yeah, it's, that's that early childhood education, being able to have that exposure to the arts can lead to so many different things down the line. Even if it's not one becoming an artist themselves, it creates a greater level of appreciation for the arts. A lot of the reasons why a lot of ballet companies say, oh, well, we don't really create works like that or that include certain demographics of people is because we tend to cater more to our base of who our donors are and who our ticket sellers are. But I'm a firm believer that if you create more holistic diversity, your audiences are also going to reflect that as well. But it can't just be the tokenization of putting a Black person on a stage in a costume and saying, look, we've got a Black person. It has to be a full holistic experience where the community feels like they're accepted, they're appreciated, that their voices are valued, and that they want to contribute and see this happen. So it's, creating the Black Iris Project has been a terribly challenging experience, and Misty Copeland has been a huge champion of ours and has opened many doors for us to grow and to succeed. But it's, I'm just really focused on how we can continue to expand this medium beyond its white supremacist ideologies, beyond its Eurocentric sensibilities, and really make ballet look like what the rest of our country looks like. It's so diverse and rich in color and flavor and texture. And I think that ballet should look that way as well.
That's amazing because also, and I'm trying to not look like a bubblehead, but I'm like agreeing with everything you're saying because it's just like it's so true. And maybe a reference that we would have also is Alvin Ailey, right? And that's like contemporary modern dance, and that's also its own thing. So to see it in ballet is like an added thing, right? That that great to have that option out there. And there's so many things like we can talk about hours and hours, but the thing about, how a body should look, how about like all these things, it goes into that, right? And the standards and the high bars that are not necessarily have to do with stamina or performance or having something look aesthetic, like dictating what aesthetic should look like or be. So
Right.
I'm
And it's funny that you bring up Alvin Ailey because the school that I went to for college is a program, as a college program connected with the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. And so I got to learn a lot about Alvin Ailey, and he's been a huge source of inspiration. There's so many nights that I'm depressed, frustrated, trying to figure out how to pull all of the money together to make things happen, or trying to figure out how to get the word out about what we're doing. And I often wonder, like, what advice would he give to me if he were still alive?
Mhm.
But I firmly believe that it's important that we have more organizations that are not just like Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. Often that's the go-to, right?
Yep.
Even as a young kid growing up in San Diego, where I was one of very few Black kids in my ballet school or my dance studio that I went to outside of school, I was often pushed to be like, oh, you should look into Alvin Ailey. You should go to the Ailey School. And I think it's important that we not just pigeonhole Black artists to one or two institutions, but that we have a potpourri, a huge diversity of different organizations, that reflect various different backgrounds and techniques and cultures, because otherwise we're just continuing a cycle, right? Alvin Ailey created the Ailey Company as a home for Black artists who more or less could not get work anywhere else. And that is not what my mission is with the Black Iris Project. None of our dancers exclusively dance with us. We come together for a greater purpose because we want to share our stories, but it's never to like take them from these other companies that they're in, where they're the little sprinkles of pepper here and there. We want to see, the diversity continue to grow in those companies. And so, we're doing what we can. We're excited to come to San Diego. We're bringing two really important and cutting edge, slightly, as some people would consider, controversial works, but really they're just works that are filled with
Speaking.
lots of love and passion and a yearning for equity in this country.
Mhm.
And so we're really excited to be making this happen.
Yeah, and it seems also, again, just from watching it on video, I hope I get a chance to see it live. But from what I saw, and I wanted to ask you for the February 8th performance specifically, is it Shelter from the Wild? Is it an excerpt of that? Or what is it that audiences are going to get to see at Balboa Theater on the 8th?
Yeah, so we have two very vibrant pieces that we're bringing to San Diego. The first is a piece called The Mother's Right, which is a 40-minute ballet that is pretty much a solo. It traces one Black mother's journey through various stages of grief after losing her son to police brutality. So the story is a fictional story inspired by countless mothers throughout history that have lost their children to police brutality, unfortunately. And what really inspired me to create this work was the fact that we have all of these hashtags. We're saying all of these names. We're hearing these mothers talk about their experiences and what they're going through as the trials are happening, or shortly thereafter, we hear what happens to the person who killed their child. But after the cameras go away and we've moved on to the next topic or the next family, um, we often forget that these families and these mothers in particular, these lives, their lives are forever transfixed by this singular moment. And even though they're no longer getting the attention or the support, this is still something that they're always going to have to live with. And so our story starts right when the mother finds out that the person that killed her son was acquitted of all charges.
Oof.
So we get to go through so many different stages of grief, understanding kind of what the mental health challenges that are underlying behind such traumatic experiences. So that's a ballet that's being performed by former Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater soloist Fauna Tesfagorgas.
Oh,
She's absolutely stunning in the role. She never leaves the stage for the entire 40 minutes. Once she's on stage, it's like a whole experience. You're really captivated and really just caught in a trance in that journey. The other ballet that we're bringing is a ballet called Wild. It's a ballet that we created during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. It originally started out as a film series that we broke into 4 different parts. And we've now adapted it for the stage, combining various different parts of the various films. But Wild is a ballet that examines there's a young man who is turning 14 years old while being incarcerated in a juvenile detention facility. And our entire mission with that ballet was specifically to highlight and amplify the voices of young Black and Brown men that have been systemically impacted by the juvenile justice system throughout history. With the Black Iris Project, our mission is to tell stories that aren't commonly told, or ones that you won't commonly hear during Black History Month, to really create, like I said, more holistic diversity, more of a kind of an artistic gumbo, so to speak, of voices that exist in this country, and often voices that are overlooked and underrepresented are young Black men and women who particularly have had to encounter the justice system in some sort of way. So I took inspiration from Maurice Sendak classic children's novel, Where the Wild Things Are. And I combined that with the inspiration from a number of just really honest and authentic testimonials from young men that have been impacted by the justice system. And so throughout that ballet, we get to kind of understand what this one young man, this fictional character, what his experience is like throughout this experience, not just, being locked in this room, this very small room, but also understanding the family dynamic and how his mother and how that affects her relationship with him by having to experience seeing him in handcuffs.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
powerful. It's
they're
not. yeah, like you said, when it's considered, controversial, it's because it makes people uncomfortable, but it's not really controversial. It's just that you have to face the conversation, and that's how we grow, and that's how you make change, make space and then create the change. Great.
Exactly.
So this is very exciting. This is all happening again on February 8th at the Balboa Theater in San Diego, and there are a few tickets available. The advantage of that space is that really, even though if people are like, I don't want to be way in the back, yes, you're going to be in the back, but you can, it's a good space to be in the back. I've been in the last row of that theater, like touching the wall, almost touching the ceiling, and I've enjoyed myself. So,
Wow.
please don't hesitate in letting that be a thing to influence you in not going. Tickets are $26, so they're really, really accessible. And there's going to be, so you have the program, and then there's going to be a chat back after the performance.
Yeah, we have a few different community engagement type events that we're planning on Monday, February 6th. We have a free masterclass that we're offering to intermediate to advanced high school age dancers between the ages of 14, 18. It's completely free. You just have to go to our website, blackIrisproject.org/San Diego to sign up until the capacity is full. But it's an opportunity for young aspiring dancers to come and learn some of the repertory that will be performed on Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, we have the show with a 30-minute Q&A with our dancers and myself afterwards. So it should be a
Oh,
good time for conversation and hopefully to provoke thought and growth, not just within these social justice topics, but even thinking about how we can expand the arts in San Diego and how we can make the arts more accessible in San Diego.
100%, 100%. So also preparing the future performers. I love that. And so when is the master class taking place?
It's Monday, February 6th from, I believe, 6 to 8 p.m., I believe. But all the information is on our website, blackirisproject.org/San Diego.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Well, from another zero, now that we've discovered each other, is your home, and Black Iris's project's home as well. So you can come back anytime, and we will
Thank
be
you.
happy, to project that message to our audience, and very excited for what is to come. What do we need to do for all the producers and all the sponsors out there to have more performances and more dates of the Black Iris Project?
I mean, that you finances. You have to make that. It takes a lot of money to pull something like this off, and there's been a number of dance presenters and organizations that I've looked to for support and help that have continued to kind of shade me because of what I'm doing is so different and out of the box or out of the norm of what is typically presented in San Diego. But honestly, it's even if it's not us coming back to San Diego, finding emerging artists locally that you can support, ones that maybe don't have all of the accolades and whatnot yet, in order for people to be able to get to that point where they can win an Emmy or they can, find a pathway to taking their work around the country, around the world, or anywhere. You have to invest in emerging artists. You have to support their ideas and their dreams. Don't wait until they're a big name. It's
Yeah.
all about investing in them right now while they're young.
Exactly. And again, making the space to create change and uplift the new generations that are coming, and they can see that opportunity. And also, as you mentioned in the beginning, have this as a form of life, of an earning, of, living, making money off of this. It is a possibility. It's very hard, but it is possible. But it takes a team effort and faith, and
Yeah,
just to invest in that and take the leap and the risk and everything that involves, and you know get off
yeah.
of our comfort areas. Yeah.
Money has never driven me at all. I never do anything that I do for money or for status or for clout or what kind of car or whatever I could buy. I don't even own a car. But it's
Yours,
just um it's just, but I'm driven by art and being able to express myself and bring such amazing stories to life through dance and theater. And yes, of course, we want to be able to pay our bills, absolutely. But it's just, we need more support. Artists need more support in order to make their life and their life sustainable. And I don't want to fix cars. I don't want to do anything else. I want to be an artist. And in order for that to happen in San Diego, it's really going to take a stronger infrastructure for support from the city, from the state, from local individuals, just acknowledging that the arts are vital and that they're important and that we should invest in them. Because I know for me, the arts have definitely kept me going throughout the pandemic, from all of the different movies and virtual shows and screenings I was able to see. It just, we need the arts. We really do, to help us find new pathways for growth in our country.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're on the same boat, my friend. Same here, same here. We like to pay our bills, but we also love what we do, and that's why we do it, right? And we need more people like that. Again, I want to thank you for taking the time and the space to be here and sharing your amazing project and self with us. And hopefully this can, help a little bit at least to
I hope so.
contribute to the change and to have these conversations. And I'm looking forward to following you guys and seeing what is to come also in your career as a performer, not just with the collaborative, and more accolades, as you say, right? To come, and for San Diego to also root for its own, right? Because after that happens and you start, on the Tony route and all the awards out, right? It's like, yay, San Diego. And you're like, where were you when I was
Yep,
knocking at your door, right?
exactly, exactly.
Thank you so much, everybody. This is From Another Zero. Remember that here we just don't start from zero. We start from another zero after our tools and our mistakes, right? So thank you so much, Jeremy. And we'll see you on the next one.